Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh. Oy Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh. Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh. The best Shabbos starts with a bass solo. Do you feel rooted? Do you feel settled? Do you feel secure? If not, you need to get there. Because from that base, you're gonna rise up. Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh. Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh. We say good Shabbos. But as strong as the feeling that we got from that bass solo, which gave us rootedness, we say good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom. I want you to rise up if you can in body or spirit. That means stand up in body or spirit. I'm going to invite Peter Isbister, who's right here in front of me. Yes, do we trust him with fire? Yes, we do. Okay. He's got matches. Okay, so you'll notice, again, the rootedness. If you're feeling rooted, you're in good shape. If not, maybe you need to rock back and forth, side to side. Yeah? If you're sitting, if you're at home, if you're a Zumisher Yid, maybe you're sitting, you sit and you feel in your rootedness. Yeah? And again, these candles, that's a heavy base, but Peter's going to light them. It's with an assist. With an assist from Brad Scott Davidoff. Yeah. And notice how no matter what happens, the flame rises up. Yeah. Rooted down and the flame is up. So I'm going to invite you to rise up. Don't bump into the person next to you unless that's what they're into. And maybe you even, do a little goalpost, do a little, whatever you call it, a wing, and you feel your heart open for the first time, maybe all day, maybe all week. And the Shabbos Kodesh is here to say it's good because you're loved and you can give love. And so bring that in once, twice, 3 times. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel And you open your eyes and you see 2 candles. Maybe you can see them. Maybe you can't see them, but trust me, they're rising up with 2 arms up high, and those arms that are stretching are also hugging if you want. And the person next to you wants a Shabbos hug. I invite you to give them a Shabbos hug. And going along with hugging, a reminder that this is Shabbos Kodesh, and so we should do it again. Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh. We invite the angels of blessing, the angels of peace, the angels of connection and community to be a part of this space. If you want, you can look in your book on page 13. You don't have to. Shalom Aleichem. We welcome those angels of peace, angels of the Most High. While we tune up, make sure that we're in key to get those angels. The angels, the Stravinsky angels like dissonance, but the other angels, angel of peace and harmony. In a moment, we're going to sing Nagibor. Yeah, I got a thumbs up. I didn't do anything, and I'm getting a thumbs up. I love this. Nagibor is from Ana B'Koach, which invites God in God's great strength to untie our tangledness with the power of God's right hand. So I'm going to invite you to maybe make some fists. Yeah? Maybe you felt tight all week. Yeah? Maybe, Lauren Rich, you gotta make some fists here. You're not making fists? No? We have a fist refusal in aisle 3. Okay.
We don't want Lauren to make fists.
We don't want Lauren to make fists. It's true. That's true. That would ruin the Shabbos energy. And see how tight you can see, the knuckles are getting white. How tight can you make? And on the count of achat, shtayim, shalosh, I want you to let it go. Achat, shtayim, shalosh. Open to the possibility of this moment. Turn to page 19. You'll see a group of verses. It says from Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs, of all the songs, the most beautiful, because as we say goodbye to Tu B'Av, the holiday of love on the Jewish calendar, connection between two people, connection between God and humanity, connection between all the parts of ourselves that have been alienated from one another. Notice that there is no gender assignment in these words. Any part of you that's feeling any connection to any of these words, notice yourself coming out of the wilderness to find the love that's within you. Page 19.
Dodi liva ani lo haroe bashoshanim.
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 Dodi liva ani lo. 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 Haroe bashoshanim. Dodi liva ani lo. Haroe bashoshanim. Dodi liva ani lo. Dodi liva ani lo. Dodi liva ani lo. Dodi liva ani lo. Join us. Dodi liva ani lo. Haroe bashoshanim. 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 Dodi liva ani lo. Haroe bashoshanim.
Page 33, Psalm 98.
Yiramayamu melo, Yiramayamu melo, Tevel beyoshveva, Yiramayamu melo, Yiramayamu melo, Yiramayamu melo. Tevel beyoshveva, Yiramayamu melo. Neharodim chauchaf la la la, Yachararim Yirameinu la 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 la. Neharodim chauchaf la la la, Yachararim Yirameinu. Yiramayamu melo, Yiramayamu melo. Tevel beyoshveva, Yiramayamu melo. Yiramayamu melo. Sorry. Yiramayamu melo. It's my favorite part of the song. Tevel beyoshveva, Yiramayamu melo. Now second part. Neharodim chauchaf la 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 la, Yachararim Yirameinu la 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 la. Neharodim chauchaf la 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 la, Yachararim Yirameinu. Yiramayamu melo, Yiramayamu melo. Tevel beyoshveva, Yiramayamu melo.
Lifnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel b'tzadek, v'amim b'meisharim. Let the rivers clap their hands together and the mountains sing in joy to the one who comes to rule the earth, to rule the settled world with justice and all peoples with amazing deeds. We turn to page 41. L'chadodi, we say to each other. You might have to look somebody in the eye. We did this last week. I think it worked. L'chadodi, come my beloved one. So turn to somebody. Come, l'chadodi. We say, l'chadodi. L'chadodi. Yes. Come, my beloved one, whatever the schmutz that's been hanging onto your neshama this week, whatever went badly, shake it off. I'm going to invite you to shake it off. Just get rid of it. You can brush it off, right? Here we go. Yes, you might have to move. Thank you, Greg. You got it. L'chadodi, come, my beloved one. You are deserving of only the sweetness, only the most beautiful spirit that we call Shabbos. Page 41. We're going to do verses, I think, 1, 2, 5, 8, and 9? 1, 5, 8, and 9. You'll just pick numerology. Just pick a verse on pages 41 to 45. I'm sure you'll get it. You're going to steal? You're trying to tell me something?
Not yet. It's too soon. It's only his second service, Brad. We haven't even told him where we keep the hook.
Shabbat, Echadodi, Likrat Halah, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabelah. Echadodi, Likrat Halah, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabelah. שמור וזכור בדיבורך, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת מקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בהורך אורי אורי, אורי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נדלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת מקבלה.
ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי. על ירש בפרצי, ואני שמחה ונגילה.
דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת מקבלה. רואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת מקבלה.
Let's sing shalom.
שלום,
שלום,
מלאכי השלום,
שלום,
מלאכי עליון, מלאכי
השלום.
שלום, מלאכי השלום,
שלום,
מלאכי עליון, מלאכי השלום. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך Echad Kala Beneshama
Thanks for giving the microphone back. I wasn't sure. 49. Custom made, tailor made, bespoke psalm just for Shabbos. The specific Shabbat psalm is Psalm 92, and it says, Tov lahodot l'Adonai. It is good to give thanks to Adonai and to sing of the name of the Most High when something's going right. Sometimes it's hard to remember when something's going right. So I'm going to invite you to figure something out this week that went well. And if you were in Zoom land, we're putting that in the chat. Yes? Okay, we got thumbs up. I got a hand right in the front. Yes. Woo! You sold a house. Excellent. Yes, right behind you. Daughter and son-in-law from Florida. Where in Florida? Gainesville, home of Tom Petty. Go Gators. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that here. Oh, say that. I tell you that I went to college a new college in Sarasota, Florida, and we were driving down the highway with me and my dad, and there was a big billboard that said "Go Gators," lots of O's, and he looked at me and he said, "What's a goo gator?" Thanks, Dad. Yes. Fall seeds are planted or sprouting for the fall. You know, it's August, right? Don't know how gardening works. That's amazing. Yes. First week of school. So for the children. So in other words, you have like 8 to 2 to yourself at this point. No, your work. All right. Yes. Oh my goodness. Fantastic. Beautiful. And mom's, wow, thanks. Yes. First time in this building. No, but I mean, some people, this is their first time for a while. Yeah. But just being home with the choir. Beautiful. Yeah. I think that, yeah, you said you told. First time ever in this building. Yeah. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so, I left out the band. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
And it was only $200.
But that means you had to drive a Prius, though. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to say that. Not in this congregation. Faux pas number 2. Nice. Ruben. Oh, beautiful. Fantastic. Oh my goodness. So for all the things that we are saying, thanks for being here, for gassing up the Prius, for being with mom, with the Florida contingent. I'm gonna say, where is it? Where are we going? We're going to page 49. I already said that. Magadlu. I want you to look, and it's if you're on 49, it's the second to last line in the Hebrew, and I don't think you have it in the transliteration. Magadlu ma'asecha, ya, hallelujah. How great, how awesome are your works, Adonai. And hallelujah, you can always say hallelujah. Magadlu ma'asecha, ya.
Meoram kumakshevotecha. Magadlu Mahasechaya Meoram kumakshevotecha. Magadlu Mahasechaya Meoram kumakshevotecha. Magadlu Masechaya Meoram kumakshevotecha. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm going to invite you to rise in body or spirit. So we turn to page 55 for the Chatzi Kaddish, and that is going to go right into the Baruch Hu on page 57. Try not to set myself on fire. That would be a negative. Yidkadash, Shemei Rabbi, Dalma Divrach Yerute V'Amnich Mahute, B'Chayen Yom, U'Chayen Echol Beit Yisrael, B'Gala, U'Bizman Kal, V'Yimeru, Amen. Yehesh me Rabba Mevara Olam Maya Yitbarak Vishtabach Vitar Vitramam Vitnase Vit Hadar Vit Ale Vit Halal Shemei de Kudesha Barihu Leila Min Kobirchata Veshirata Tushbechata B'nei Amata Damiran Yalma Venimeru Baruch et Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam. Seated. This is, are we okay? Yeah. Okay. Ventilation. This is from Marge Piercy. A scarf trailing over the lilac sunset. Fair weather clouds, cirrus, silk chiffon, twilight softens the air, whispering, "Come, lie down with me." Untie the knots of the will, Loosen your clenched grip, barren hills of bone. Here, no edges to hone, only the palm fallen open as a rose about to toss its petals. What you have made, what you have spoiled, let go. Let twilight empty the crowded rooms, quiet the jostling colors in hues of swirling water, pearls of fog. This is the time for letting go, for letting time go. Like a released balloon, dwindling, tilt your neck, let your face open to the sky. Like a pond catching light, drinking the darkness. Page 59, Umavir.
I've invited Sun Moon Pie to sing Umavir Yom, the familiar version you know that Mike and his wife Bonnie wrote. But it sounds like Bonnie isn't feeling well tonight. So my wife, Amy, will sing her part with Mike Levine tonight.
So thank you, Amy. Feel free to join in as soon as you got it. It's not too hard. Umavir Yom, Umevi Laila, 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 Umavir Yom, Umevi Laila.
Turn to page 63. Havat Olam, universal love, flooding us, entering into us, inviting us to return it and mirror that love back into the world. That's going to go at 63. It's going to go right into the Shema on page 65. Shema, of course, an invitation to listen. Shema means listen. And so I invite you to take a deep breath, settle in, just open to being a listening being who can receive. Another deep breath. Not judging, not evaluating, just listening. Being blessed with the possibility of what comes in from the world. One last breath. Ahavat Olam, universal love, listen for the love as we go from 63 into 65.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Akin Adonai Eloheinu, Shochbeinu Kumenu Nasiach Bechukecha, Benizmach B'divrei Toratecha, U'b'mitzvotecha, Le'olam Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever, forever. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta.
Ve'ahavatcha al tasu mimeno le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol לבבcha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לעוד על ידך V'hayu letotafot beinecha uktabtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. I want you to turn to page 71. Below the line, in the handwritten scroll of the Torah, the word Shema of Shema Yisrael, it's this week's Parsha, ends with an oversized ayin, and the word Echad ends with an oversized dalet. Taken together, these two letters spell Ed, meaning witness. Whenever we recite the Shema, we bear witness to our awareness of God's presence. Page 73, 3.5 lines from the bottom of the Hebrew. Leman tiskeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Emet, emes, truth. There's a song of truth that we sing, a song of redemption, a liberation song called Mi Chamocha. It's on page 79. This is a reminder that whatever feels impossible, whatever feels completely immovable, wherever you feel stuck, whether that's personally, socially, politically, culturally, remember this crew, schlumpy little slaves who were bound to the biggest empire, the most powerful empire then known in the world, Pharaoh's Egypt. If they could get out of it, they can be free. This is a message for all time. What is possible? It means we have to stand next to the people who are struggling, again, politically, culturally, personally. And sometimes it's you, sometimes it's me. And remember the promise that's in this song. Page 79.
This is call and response. Mi chamocha, Elim Adonai, Mi kamocha, Nedar bakodesh, Nora, Tehilot, Ose, Fele, Malechutecha, Ra'u vanecha, Bokeh hayam, Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zelim, Anu ve'amu, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai God Yisrael.
Hashkivenu, a prayer for protection, for shelter, for peace. Page 81. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Aparei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. In honor of this Shabbos Kodesh, we rise in body or spirit. Turn to page 85 for Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות On pages 90 to 107, 90 to 107, you will find your Amidah, you will find your standing prayer, you will find words written by the sages of blessed memory in Hebrew and translated into English, and maybe you'll not find the words that you need, so I invite you to say whatever is in your heart. Open yourself. We call this hitbodedut, connection, deep-rooted connection to the source. Find whatever words you need to say right now. Stand wherever you need to go outside. You need to be in another room. This is your space. This is your moment. Take as much time as you need. Just let us know that you've gotten to the end of your Amidah when you get there by being seated. (107), middle of the page. Yehu leratzon imrefi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai Tsuri Adonai Vegoali Vegoali. May our words of prayer and our heart's meditation be seen favorably, beloved one, our rock, our Redeemer. We say amen. Take a moment to envision those in our world who are suffering in some way, who are in need of healing in some way. physical, mental, emotional, spiritually. Picture them moving through the passage of suffering into healing in whatever way that's possible by reciting Mishabera. I have a list here. We're going to do 2 verses, 2 repetitions of the Mishabera. In between, as we continue the melody, I invite you to share out loud any of those names that you are holding close in your heart for healing.
This is call and response.
Mishabera, Avotenu, Kol HaChaim, Ve'imotenu, Uyevarech, Ve'irafeh, Et HaCholim, Et HaCholim,
ata Adonai, rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, Adonai, healer of the sick. Say amen. So, in keeping with the healing prayer, the Mishaberach, when I was a rabbinical student, I spent a summer working as a chaplain in the hospital for special surgery, facing the East River, tucked into the tony but tasteful apartment buildings on Manhattan's Upper East Side. You've been there. The hospital served patients with ambulatory and other orthopedic conditions. My job as chaplain was to talk to patients about their maladies, to act as a compassionate presence, and occasionally a shoulder to cry on. Now, I say occasionally because it was remarkable to me how reluctant many people were to talk about their suffering. I'm okay, a recipient of a hip replacement would report. I'll be all right, said a middle-aged man with an acute spinal disorder. Even an amputee, as I sat with her, cast still drying on the hospital bed, said, other people have it worse, right? How could this be, I wondered? Other people have it worse? I mean, okay, objectively, yes, that is true. But you know, in this moment, you've got it kind of bad. And here I am. I'm not here to fix the TV. I'm the chaplain. In this hospital, I exist solely to hear complaining. You're telling me other people have it worse. What I learned both in my training and from experience is something you might know from your own heart. Many of us are afraid to talk about our pain. And a big reason for this is the reception we receive when we speak the feelings within our hearts. Living in a culture built on a capitalist ethos means in part that we're not exactly encouraged to stop and process our feelings unless we're paying for it. A culture, quote, designed to encourage people to keep going, not to be slowed down by emotional pain, writes clinical psychologist Michael Friedman. And he continues, the people who struggle with their pain are often on the receiving end of stigma, ranging from frustration and contempt to avoidance and abandonment. Talk too loudly or too often about what's bothering you, and you risk even your closest friends and family counseling you with the worst advice possible, which is, really, don't you think it's time you got over it? You've heard it, yeah. It's no wonder then that we often feel it's safer to keep our feelings to ourselves. It's what makes Moses' speech in this week's Parsha, Ve'et Hanan, so remarkable. Moses, you may remember, has already been informed, he will not be entering the promised land that he has been marching to for 40 years. The people will henceforth be led by Joshua. And to his credit, Moses is a team player. He tries to put on a brave face. Last week's Torah portion ends with Moses giving a little pep talk to Joshua about God's help that will be provided for him as leader. This week, let's call it a shift in tone. The word ve'et Hanan means I pleaded. Moses informs the people, lets them know that he has begged God to let him go into the promised land and has been told no. Advanced in years on the verge of death, Moses finally begins to process the reality of his fate. He does so remarkably in public, in front of his people. His is not a reasoned argument. He doesn't detail lists of reasons why he's worthy of entering the land. He's just broken. In the Midrash, Rabbi Yochanan reports that, quote, even Moses, the teacher of all prophets, was reduced to begging. He's desperate, and he is grieving, and he is not afraid to admit it. which, given conventional wisdom about what it means to be religious, might surprise us. Wouldn't a true man of God accept his fate unquestioningly? Well, not a Jewish one. In actuality, lots of our texts include narratives that evidence deep relationship with God, expressed not in blind devotion, but rather through honest emotional engagement, including anger, frustration, and profound sadness. Psalm 6, just to take one example, reveals exasperation, frustration with God. I am weary with groaning, the psalmist writes. My soul is anguished. And you, God? Ad matai? How long? How long do I have to wait? How long do I have to suffer? Every night, the psalmist says, I melt my bed with tears. And I put it to you that this is an incredible gift to have texts like this. Rather than insist on blind obedience, our texts give us space to express hopelessness, more so sometimes than even our closest loved ones do. Instructing someone to get over their pain, even when well-meaning, can be insensitive at best, and at worst can re-traumatize someone who never had the space to process the pain in the first place. Asking people to hold in their pain, sometimes it's like asking them to hold their breath. You just can't do it forever. It needs to come out. Here in Georgia, of course, this kind of expression has a name. It is called the blues. As the great Robert Johnson sang, and will refuse to sing this on our behalf, so I'm very upset. I got to keep moving. I got to keep moving. Blues falling down like hail. The days keeps on worrying me. There's a hellhound on my trail. Imagine if someone had gone up to Robert Johnson and said, hey, Bob, you really need to get over this, don't you think? Would have had some loss of good music. So what do? Well, maybe it's no coincidence that the parsha in which Moses acknowledges to his people his existential cry of pain is also the parsha that includes the Shema. The text that we've taken on as a touchstone prayer instructs Yisrael, all of us Jews, Shema, a word meaning simply listen. Hey, Jews, listen. What should we listen to? Adonai is God. Okay? And every person that I meet is a reflection of that God. And so how could I not listen to them? Respecting my neighbor or friend or even a stranger as being created B'Tselem Elohim in God's image means being willing to hear the fullness of who they are, pain and hurt inclusive. Our tradition, after all, understands that though events may be in the past, our suffering and our tears are real here and now. Last week, some of you joined me for Tisha B'Av, a commemoration of the Churban, the destruction of the temple, a cataclysm we are specifically instructed not to get over. Like the Armenian genocide, American chattel slavery, the Middle Passage, Cossacks, the Holocaust. Just some things you don't get over. And you don't forget them. The Talmud teaches that the destruction of the temple was such a catastrophe that when it was consumed, all the gateways to heaven were sealed, except one. The gateway of tears, we are taught, always remains open. Every tear that is shed is collected in heaven. Every human tear is sacred. In fact, our sages teach that even when nobody will listen in a culture that lionizes the strong and silent type, there is always prayer. Rav Gedalia Fleer notes that in Gematria, the counting system that assigns numbers to Hebrew letters, the numerical value of Ve'et Chanan, I begged, is equal to that of Tefillah, prayer. Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher, tells us that he's broken. He appears at this moment neither strong nor silent. Please let me cross. He pleads, he pours out his heart and his soul, And it is an incredible model for the Jewish people. The Hasidic masters called this, as I said before, hitbodedut or hisbodedus, cleaving to God, speaking your heart and expressing your needs and fears and hopes. Rabbi Nosson, the main disciple of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, instructs that hitbodedut should be practiced in a simple, straightforward manner. After all, we're called children of God. And so, writes Rabbi Nosson, quote, it's good to express your thoughts and troubles to God like a child, complaining and pestering a parent. Turns out the Rebbes were telling us to get in touch with our inner child long before Carl Jung did it. Notice, by the way, that hitbodedut is not about separate dishes or about candle lighting times, or even about tzedakah, as important as that is. This practice is simply about cleaving to God with an honest expression of our hearts, the cry and dance of our souls, which you don't have to know anything to do except how to be honest. Now, at this point, if I'm being honest, I have to talk about how God responds to Moses' lament. Vayitaber, Moses reports, God got mad. Ravlach, God says, enough. Don't ever speak to me about this again. Which sounds a lot, I got to admit, like, get over it, which would sort of blow this whole sermon thing out of the water. So hear me out. Colloquially, Ravlach indeed can mean enough, but literally, Ravlach means there is greatness in you. You have so much, Moses, so much pain, and you have so much blessing. You have so much greatness. Imagine what's possible. In the Midrash, meanwhile, there's an argument about whether God was mad at all. Rabbi Eliezer says, V'yitaber indeed means mad or angry. Rabbi Yehoshua disagrees. He says that V'yitaber is connected to Evra, the word for pregnant, meaning, according to Yehoshua, that God, quote, became like a woman who could not bend over because of her fetus. Now, I gotta say, I'm not totally sure what this means, but here's what I think. Given a remarkable image of a pregnant God, gender schmender, okay, right? Pregnant God. First of all, I don't know from personal experience, but anyone who's pregnant, this is an image of discomfort. Yeah. God is pained along with Moses. The prophet is grieving a dream, and in this reading, God is struggling along with him. For any of us, losing a dream, letting go of a cherished vision, it can be so painful. We need to mourn the losses in our lives and wail for the death of our previous hopes. Pregnancy also implies possibility. Indeed, God instructs Moses, Ale rosh hapisga sa einecha. Rise up to the top of the mountain and lift up your eyes. Look to the west and to the north and to the south and to the east and really see the land. See the blessing. Take in this wide expanse that's in front of you. You're not going to cross the Jordan. That is true. But that doesn't mean that the place where you're standing right now isn't holy. So yeah, it's a little like when one door closes, another one opens. Maybe it sounds trite, but I think it's more than that. The idea that grieving is real and suffering is real, and at the same time that within the moment of grieving, something might be born. A moment like God, pregnant with possibility. After the devastation, in the midst of devastation, there's possibility. After all, after the Chorban, surrounded by the ashes of their sacred temple, the Jews reinvented themselves. Even as the rabbis wept for Jerusalem, they reconstructed a Judaism centered on prayer and study and masim tovim, holy action, based not in the temple in Jerusalem, but in the synagogue. Synagogue, of course, like this one. From the moment I first walked through the door here at CBH, I recognized it was a special place. In the midst of anti-Semitism and homophobia and transphobia and all kinds of hatreds, you've built a shul with a sense of community and a cooperative spirit, all too rare, even in the Jewish world. Of course, there are hassles and there's frustrations, plague any synagogue, particularly an outside the box shul like this one that sometimes is making it up as we go. As we, don't laugh too loud, as we get to know each other, there's going to be frustrations and there's going to be complaints. I look forward to being a resource and a teacher for CBH in grieving losses and honoring our tears and also nurturing our hopes, pregnant with possibility. And so, like Moses, I invite you to lift up your eyes, look around in all directions, and get a clear view. And remember the reason that you came here in the first place. See that in one sense, the promise has already been fulfilled. I invite you to see that promise, the wonderful, maddening, amazing promise of community. This community joined together in praying and learning, partying and protesting, weeping and dancing, walking arm in arm on a path of holiness. Thank you so much for welcoming me into this space. It's such a blessing to be here. Shabbat shalom. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Turn to page 121 for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol, v'ateidu lanu tzedek shenatan lanu Torah temet, v'chayei olam v'tam. 123. Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. On 127, please join me. And then all that has divided us will merge, and then compassion will be wedded to power, and then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind. And then both men and women will be gentle, and then both women and men will be strong, and then no person will be subject to another's will, and then all will be rich and free and varied. Then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many, and then all will share equally in the earth's abundance, and then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old, and then all will nourish the young, and then all will cherish life's creatures. And then all will live in harmony with each other and the earth. And then everywhere will be called Eden once again. Kakatuv b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, v'nemar, v'haya Adonai, v'melech kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo I invite you to remain standing as we pray together our prayer for the end of hiding. As LGBTQ Jews, we are aware of the loss of integrity we suffered due to the pressures of the larger society. We often feel forced into a dishonest presentation of ourselves to ourselves and others. LGBTQ individuals feel they must pretend to be something that they are not. The Jews who feel they must be alienated from tradition and community to win larger acceptance. Both are victims of a theft of identity and integrity committed by the sexual, gender identifying or religious majority. Creator of the universe, we ask that our hiding draw to an end, that we no longer feel we have to pretend, promise falsely, to renounce ourselves, and that our fullest creative expression as Jews and as lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual, and queer people be among the blessings you bestow upon us. Say amen. May be seated. We take this moment to recall the memories of the people upon whose shoulders we stand, those who have passed away, who have died at this season in years past, by saying Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. I invite you to say out loud or put into the chat the names of anyone you are remembering at this time. Invite the mourners among us to rise. In addition, if it is your custom to rise with them in memory of those who die every day of war, of hunger, of neglect, abuse, inadequate health care, uncured disease, those of every walk of life have been a blessing to this world. You may rise as well. 131, Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal, Yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah. B'alma Divrah Hirute, B'amlich Malchute, B'chayechon Uvyomechon, B'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, B'agalah Ubizman Kariv, B'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Leolam Ulalmei Amaya. Yitbarach, Yishtabah, Yitpa'ar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh. Viet Hadar, Viet Alev, Viet Halal, Shemei Kudashan, Barichu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirat, Tushbachata V'Nechamata, Gamiran Be'alma, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba, Min Shemaya, V'Chayim Aleinu, Be'al Kol Yisrael, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Rama, Huya Se Shalom, Leinu Be'al Kol Yisrael, Amen. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, the memory of our righteous ones is always for a blessing. We say amen. May be seated. I invite Madam President, yes, to share with you. Oh, you got a yay. Hoo-ha. What's that? Oh, you kidding? Yeah. You have some holy business to share?
Yeah. I just want to give announcements. Marcy is in New York, so I'm standing in for her. Okay. I thought I got 120. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. I'm a member of, president of CBH board. We're delighted to have everyone here. We're here. How do you like that? And we're down to 2 in contagion. And I've heard now that we are welcoming Zumisher Yidden. Welcome all of you. Here are some upcoming events. Shabbat Yoga is tomorrow, Saturday, August 13th at 11:30. I don't know whether it's in person or via Zoom. It's here, okay. CBH Community School starts soon. So if you have school-aged kids, please take a look and sign up and take a look at our website. Elul is coming. And let me tell you, we are going to have a month of Elul like we have never had at CBH. First, come to Rabbi Mike's August 31st, September 7th, personal inventory, both on Zoom and here in person at CBH. September 17th, Slichot service and program. And I believe for the first time in my 22 years at CBH, we will have the shofar blown, thanks to Sandra Menace, every day during Elul, at least on Zoom and also perhaps in person. So please join us for all the Elul festivities. Next Friday, Shabbat is August 19th. Rabbi Mike will be leading us. And if all of that's not enough for you, don't forget Mindful Moments, weekdays at 8:45 on Zoom. You can end your day with our 15-minute minyan, also on Zoom, Saturdays to Thursdays at 8. If that's not good enough for you, come to our lunchtime Torah. That's every Tuesday at noon. And if you still want more, we have CBH chant leaders guide us on virtual chanting every first and third Monday at 6:30. I want to thank our ONEG sponsors. I'm not sure if this is last week's announcements or this week's, but is it Sherry Cornett, Rebecca Green, and Lynn Norton? Or this week's, thank you very much for the ONEG. Okay, please know that the Kiddush and Motzi will be outside right after the service. Then go to the front to get your food and bring it outside, okay, to eat it outside. I also really want to thank our greeters, and I want to make a call and a pitch for people to please email me, laurenatlanta@gmail.com. If you are willing to be a greeter at a Shabbat service or a regular service here at CBH, thanks to Sherry and Greg, there is a safety and security component in being a greeter, and we're looking for people who really want to do this. It's not very hard. I want to thank Terry Egdahl. I don't know where she is. She did it third Shabbat in a row. Thank you very much. I also want to thank Talia Cohn for making sure that everybody who's here registered, although I know some of us snuck in. Okay, please be sure, check BetMail or the website for other announcements. Please make sure to register. We're in low contagion now, but who knows what COVID is going to, what COVID's going to bring for us. So sign the Brit Briut, the health pledge. We also need more high holiday greeters. That's Marcy's department. So email her, marcy1964alt@gmail.com. We also need more ONEG sponsors. We need more food, okay? And if you have a machzor from last year, hold on to it. Just let us know you have it, okay? I can't let tonight go by, talk about winging it as we go, okay? I can't let go the exuberant wish for a bottle of bourbon for Rabbi Mike on the listserv this week, and the concern that many people felt about safety around alcohol at CBH. So I need you to know two things consistent with CBH practice and a pledge that the board makes to you. Number one, every Friday night Kiddush we have is with juice, okay? Because we want everyone to feel safe and to be able to observe the holiness of the Kiddush on Shabbat. That will never change at CBH. And the second thing I want to assure you is that we will do everything we try to alert you if we are going to have liquor here for an event, as we have in the past, for example, at Rabbi Dale's goodbye service or at other events that we have at CBH. We try to let you know so that if you have any concerns or if you'd rather not come, you can do that. So I just want everybody to know that as we go forward. Last, Will, Brad, the Mamalas, Ariella, Amy, Shana, Michael, our fantastic musicians, Jordan, Sarah, Ruben, Henry, and the inimitable CBH chorus. Thank you for everything. Billy Mazel on sound. Thank you to Greg and Haley and Rick Stone for making sure all of our good sides show on Zoom. Okay, and of course to Rabbi Mike, thank you for one of the most beautiful and uplifting thank yous that I have heard, and we look forward to so many wonderful, uplifting moments with you. So welcome. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.
So thank you to, I believe it's Clarence, who has been, he was here helping with facilities. So we want to, Calvin, I don't know why I have a block. Calvin. So if you see Calvin helping us out, thanks to Clarence too. If you see Calvin helping us out, please thank him. Do you guys have a name? The band, this is amazing. I just like, I just walk in and the voices in this band.
We do. It's Congregation Beit Haverim.
So I was hoping for the Atlanta Yidden section. I'm getting booed my second service. That's fantastic. We're gonna finish. No, then so into you. Yeah. The song.
We have
Plenty.
albums. We have
What?
albums for sale.
You have
could-
albums for sale.
We have
Very-
merch.
They're
But
not-
it's Shabbat after Shabbat.
After Shabbos. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu Shanti Shalom Salam. Peace in whatever language you speak or none at all. Let's make it happen. If you want to stand up and be a part of this, since the whole band is the congregation, we invite you to do so. Good job.
Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam.
Your turn.
Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Shanti aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shanti shalom. Shanti aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shanti shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam.
Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam.
Shabbat shalom. Raya. Bruder.